Thank you for tuning into our presentation on public service loan forgiveness. This webinar is intended to help you navigate the recent updates to the PSLF program and how you may be able to take advantage of loan forgiveness for public service employees. But let's start with our standard disclaimer. This presentation is being made by a CFPB employee on behalf of the Bureau. It does not constitute legal interpretation, guidance, or advice. Any opinions or views stated during this presentation are my own and may not represent the Bureau's views. Today's discussion is going to focus on PSLF, including how student loan borrowers can become eligible, how to apply, and we're going to discuss some recent changes to the PSLF program through a limited waiver opportunity. We will also go over some additional resources and other materials to help you stay on track with your student loans. First, a little bit about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The CFPB is a federal government agency that works to improve consumer finance markets by making rules more effective, by enforcing those rules, and by empowering consumers to take more control of their financial lives. I am from a division in the CFPB that focuses on helping consumers navigate financial products and services. We serve the general public, but we also focus on a series of special populations, including service members, older Americans, traditionally underserved communities, and students and young consumers. We help students and young consumers to prepare for financial decisions such as paying or saving for college, managing money, building credit, and of course, repaying student loan debt, all with an eye towards preventing student loan default or other negative financial events. With this in mind, we're going to talk about the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, or PSLF. PSLF was established to encourage individuals to pursue careers in public service. Those who choose to work in public service often face substantial financial hardship and may not be able to repay their loans over the standard 10-year repayment period. This program was intended to help those employees provide a service to the public and satisfy their student loan debt repayment obligations. So what is PSLF? PSLF is a program where a student loan borrower can qualify for loan forgiveness by paying their loans for 120 months while working in public service for a qualifying employer. We're going to break down this definition and go over the qualifying criteria to reach PSLF. On October 6th, the Department of Education announced for a limited time, borrowers can receive credit for past payments that would not otherwise qualify for PSLF. With this limited waiver, if you have been working in public service but have never explored PSLF or were previously discouraged from taking advantage of PSLF because you had the wrong type of loans, this is the time to take advantage of the limited waiver and consider whether you want to explore PSLF. With Under this limited waiver, any prior payment will count as a qualifying payment. It does not matter the type of loan, repayment plan, or whether the payment was made in full or on time. Can receive forgiveness even if you are no longer working for a qualified employer at the time of application or forgiveness. This is truly a limited time opportunity and it expires October 31st, 2022. To receive credit for past payments, you must take action prior to this deadline. Your next steps depend on what type of loans you have. We will get into that in the next couple of slides. If you don't know what type of loans you have, you can log into studentaid.gov to find out more. All of your federal student loans will be listed after logging in with your username and password. You will need to know what type of loans you have before you can move on to the next step. To qualify for PSLF, you must make 120 payments while working for a qualifying employer. Any federal, state, or local government or military service will be considered qualifying employment, along with any nonprofit that is a 501c3 or an organization that is providing certain types of qualifying public services. It only matters if you work for a qualifying employer. It does not matter what you do. As an example, if you work for a public school, all the employees will qualify, such as administrators, assistants, as well as the classroom teachers. If you have any questions about whether your employer qualifies for PSLF, use the Department of Education's PSLF help tool. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that you need to work full-time. That means you must meet your employer's definition of full-time employment, or you must work at least 30 hours a week. If you are employed in more than one qualifying part-time job at the same time, you may meet the full-time employment requirement if you work a combined average of at least 30 hours per week with your employers. Now, you need to make sure that your payments count. Only payments after October 1st, 2007 will count towards PSLF, since that's when the program was created. You need 120 payments, but they do not have to be consecutive. If you started working in public service, then you move to a private sector position, you can return to public service and continue qualifying for PSLF. It is always good advice to keep a record of your payment history. Download a copy and save it for your files. We also recommend that you fill out a PSLF form with updated qualifying employment each year so you can make sure that you're still on track. So let's talk about how you qualify for PSLF if you already have direct loans. If you log into studentaid.gov and find out you have direct loans, all you need to do is make sure that you have submitted a PSLF form with all of your qualifying employment. If you haven't submitted a PSLF form, you should fill out the form with all of your qualifying employment by October 31st, 2022. If you have worked for several public service employers, make sure you have a PSLF form for each qualifying employer. All of those forms need to be submitted by October 31st, 2022. A special note for borrowers with Parent Plus loans. Generally, Parent Plus loans do not qualify for the PSLF limited waiver. If you have Parent Plus loans and you want to learn more about PSLF, contact your servicer to learn more about your options. They can walk you through next steps based on your situation. Now, what if you have other federal student loans that are not direct loans? These could be FFEL program loans, also known as Federal Family Education Loan Program. They may be Perkins loans or another type of federal student loan. If you want to be considered for the PSLF limited waiver, you need to complete a direct consolidation loan application by October 31st, 2022. You can fill out an application to consolidate directly on the Department of Education's website. You must complete the application by the deadline or else you will lose out on this opportunity to get past payments to qualify towards PSLF. Be sure to act within the time frame to get credit for those past payments. You must also fill out a PSLF form with all of your qualifying employment information. Those forms must also be submitted by October 2022 to be considered for this limited waiver. If you'd like to learn more or share this information with others, we have created a series of guides to help public service employees qualify for PSLF and the limited waiver. We have guides tailored for several different public service employers, included Peace Corps volunteers, first responders, teachers, and more. Guides are available to download on the link available on this slide. Before we go, I want to highlight some additional resources. The Department of Education has a series of FAQs available on their website, as well as a web tool to help you navigate PSLF. Bookmark these pages so you can stay up to date on any new FAQs or additional guidance from the Department of Education. If you want to take the next steps and consolidate your loans to qualify for PSLF, the link to the consolidation application is available on this slide. Now, if you have additional questions, reach out to your student loan servicer. If you run into a problem, you can contact the FSA Ombudsman Group, or you can submit a complaint with the CFPB. Both links are available on this slide. I also want to share an additional resource. The CFPB offers a podcast for student loan borrowers, young consumers, and those who serve them. The Financial Intuition podcast focuses on a variety of topics pertaining to saving and paying for higher education, managing money, and repaying student loan debt. Our team will share interviews with financial practitioners, students and recent graduates, family members, and young adults who have successfully managed their money and repaid their student loan debt. You can access our podcast by following the link provided on this slide, and we hope you subscribe to future episodes. Thank you for listening to this webinar. If you would like to sign up for our email list to get future notices of webinars or other materials, please visit our sign up link on this slide. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar.